I tell you, it takes a lot of rage to stare across 8 realms of hell, an ocean of demons, into the eyes of the Red Judge and still think, I'm coming for you.
Metal Hellsinger is a shooter game completely inspired in the new Doom games, but the point here is that the combat of the game is also mixed with a rhythm feature. If you shoot in the right moments of the songs, you'll cause more damage. What makes the gameplay even more satisfying is you learn. The game was developed by the studio The Outsiders and released in 2022 to Xbox One and Series, PlayStation 4 and 5, and Windows. Slay to the rhythm of metal and vengeance on an infernal journey through the 8 hells. Hellsinger is a rhythm FPS bursting with demons, badass weapons, and heavy metal music. An excellent game for you fan of the new Doom games and want to play something similar.
Her guns were the drums of hell. Me? I'm just a fan. I'm still here. Going on. Let this fire, let this scorching last.
Quake 1 and 2 Remaster are great boomer shooter games to play to this day. It was developed by the studios ID Software, Night Dive Studios, and Machine Games, and the remastered version came out in 2023 to all modern platforms. The first game is basically a game like the first Doom games, smaller levels, with a lot of enemies, secret passages, different weapons, and more, and the second game is a bit different. It's way faster and more complex. The gameplay is more similar to Doom 2016, but more military, with more realistic weapons and technological enemies, such as different types of machines and robots. Both games are really fun to play if you like this kinda FPS. The story is not the main point of the game, but there will be few informations as you advance in the story.
When the ruinous powers of chaos unleash their foulest abominations, who will prevail against the darkness? The Ultramarines! Boltgun is a gory, rapid-fire boomer shooter blast from the past!
Warhammer 40,000 Boltgun is a game that amazed me when I played. It's a boomer shooter with a retro visual style like the classic Doom games, but with a modern gameplay. What makes it really addictive? The game was developed by the studio Auroch Digital and released in 2023 to Nintendo Switch, Xbox One and Series, PlayStation 4 and 5, and Windows. Load up your Boltgun and unleash the awesome Space Marine arsenal to blast your way through an explosion of sprites, pixels and blood in a perfect blend of Warhammer 40,000. Frenetic gameplay and the stylish visuals of 90s retro shooters. A game that is a true tribute to the creators of first-person games and also an amazing boomer shooter experience that you gotta have.
Take control of a mighty Sternguard veteran and plunge headlong into the grim, dark universe of Warhammer 40,000. Summoned by the Inquisition, you'll scour Graia, a forge world on the brink, overrun by cultists, traitors, and chaos demons.
DUSK is an interesting retro-like indie boomer shooter. It was developed by David Szymanski and released in 2018 to Windows, Linux, PlayStation 4, Amazon Luna, Mac OS, and Nintendo Switch. Battle through an onslaught of mystical backwater cultists, possessed militants and even darker forces as you attempt to discover just what lurks beneath the earth in this retro FPS inspired by the 90s legends. A game with a fast and dynamic combat with multiple weapons, possibilities, enemies, secrets, and much more. Inspired by Doom, Quake, Blood, Heretic, Hexen, Half-Life, Redneck Rampage, and all your 90s favorites, while featuring a soundtrack by metal music mastermind Andrew Hulshult. You really need to play this one, you won't regret. Prodeus is a game really similar to the new Doom games in the gameplay. It was developed by the studio Bounding Box Software and released in 2022 to Xbox One and Series, PlayStation 4 and 5, Nintendo Switch, macOS, Linux, and Windows. Experience the quality you'd expect from a modern AAA game, designed with retro aesthetics and gameplay that invoke the tech-imposed limits of older hardware. The game features a handcrafted campaign from industry FPS veterans, co-op and competitive multiplayer play drawing on classic modes, a fully integrated level editor, and a built-in community map browser for instantaneous action with nearly limitless levels to play. But for you, fan of single-player boomer shooter games, this one won't let you down. CULTIC is a boomer shooter in the old-school way, retro graphic style, a lot of secrets, and many ways to defeat the enemies. The game was developed by JSOS Games and released in 2022, only on Windows, and so far there's no other version of the game. Death is only the beginning. Crawl from your grave and gear up to fight your way through the ranks of a mysterious and twisted cult. You, your guns, and your dynamite will have to shoot, slide, blast, duck, dodge, and maybe throw a gib or two to survive in this old-school inspired shooter. A game that I highly recommend to all fans of old-school boomer shooter games, and if you think you might enjoy it, there's a free demo available on Steam, so you can try it out before buying, but I'm sure you'll like it.
I used to have it all. Then I fucked up and saved the world. I managed to hold on to a few things. My ride, some of my
Shadow Warrior 2 is a very fun fast-paced first-person shooter game. It was developed by the studio Flying Wild Hog and released in 2016 to Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Microsoft Windows, Linux, and Mac OS. Shadow Warrior 2 is the stunning evolution of Flying Wild Hog's offbeat first-person shooter starring the brash warrior Lo Wan, who must again wield a devastating combination of guns, blades, magic, and wit to strike down the demonic legions overwhelming the world. A game with a lot of charisma and personality. Really fun for the fans of fast-paced FPS games. There's a sequel of this game already, Shadow Warrior 3. It's even more similar to Doom, with a fun gameplay, nice combat, exploration. But the second game is still better in some aspects, but the third game is also fun. At least I had fun playing.
Toys. But the world wants it all. Out here, you live by the gun. But you can still die by the sword. I say hold on to both, just in case.
I wish to speak to all of you humans out there who are choosing to fight. I know that you believe you are doing the right thing. You believe there is a cause, a struggle worth dying for. But let me tell you the truth. There is nothing worth fighting for.
Oh, shut up!
Serious Sam 4 is a charismatic and humorous boomer shooter. And yes, the original Serious Sam games are better than the 4, but the 4 is the newest and is still a fun game. The game was developed by the studio Prodeus and released in 2020 to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and Windows, but the older games you'll find in basically all platforms. Humanity is under siege as the full force of Mental's hordes spread across the world, ravaging what remains of a broken and beaten civilization. The last remaining resistance to the invasion is the Earth Defense Force, led by Sam Sirius Stone and his heavily armed squad of misfit commandos. So if you know Sirius Sam series, you know that story is not the main point about the game. So just get your weapons, and let's get some monsters. Ultrakill is a fast-paced, ultra-violent retro FPS, combining the skill-based style scoring from character action games with unadulterated carnage inspired by the best shooters of the 90s. Rip apart your foes with very destructive weapons and shower in their blood to regain your health. Game developed by RC Padala, also known as Hikita, and released in 2020, and it's available on Windows, Linux, and Amazon Luna. It's a boomer shooter, yeah, but an original and unique one. The graphics are simple, but the game is all about mechanics, awarding you for being fast and stylish. And believe me, this game gives you many different ways to defeat your enemies, and is more stylish the way you kill. More and more points you'll get, making the gameplay loop of the game extremely rewarding. Turbo Overkill is a stylish and fast technological boomer shooter. It was developed by the studio Trigger Happy Interactive and released in 2023 to PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox One and Series, Nintendo Switch, and Windows. Heavily inspired by some of the all-time greats like ID's Doom and Quake and Apogee's Duke Nukem 3D, with stunning cyberpunk visuals, Turbo Overkill is the most savage FPS ever released by Apogee. You play as Johnny Turbo, augmented with hidden arm rockets and a chainsaw that extends from your lower leg, allowing you to slice enemies wide open. A game for the fans of fast-paced action shooter games, such as Doom Eternal, with a lot of weapons, enemies, stages, and much more. So if you didn't know this one, it's really interesting. There's a free demo on Steam in case you want to try it out.
We will consume until all dream as one.
You must have known you'd end up on the other side of the barrel at some point, Johnny. What a disappointment.
You run, you hide, you fight, all of it a meaningless charade. You dare stand before me?